Shalom, it's your brother Makazah back with another one. So I wanted to touch into ancient words this time out, primarily the Akkadian, and correlating it with the scriptures through these artifacts. Okay, so example, the term misery, which is how you say Egypt in Akkadian, and obviously the Hebrew is really Mizraim. So that's just an example. So let's get into it. But also, okay, and another thing is I'm not here to force anybody to believe. You know, if the Most High put the Spirit on you and you can see the truth, all praises. But, you know, I'm also going to touch into proving how Israelites are black, you know, also in this. But that's another volume I'm going to do after this. But similar to how brothers is trying to prove Egypt is black, and Nubia, that's another thing, you know, the European trying to say they weren't African, so to speak. This is the same thing, proving all things, showing that the Israelites were a people of color. But also this is touching into those that don't believe in the Bible and the history or historical facts of the Bible. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so this is the Black Obelisk. This could be found at the British Museum, and it's basically about Salmanazar and the king of Israel at the time, King Jehu. All right, so the inscription says, you know, a parade of exotic animals brought from the land of misery, probably Egypt. You drop down, I received tribute from misery, 2 hump camels, you know, so on and so forth. All right, as we see King Jehu bowing down, giving tribute. Okay, so this is an outside source outside of the Bible proving Israel. Okay, so for those, Israel never existed and all of that, this is nations outside of the scriptures. You know, they always say, can you prove it without the Bible? Then here you go. All right, so this is from readings from the ancient Near East. As we see, Jehu received tribute from Jehu, and then when you drop down, I received tribute from Egypt. Okay, so but my point was to show that misery or mishur is the ancient term or Akkadian term for Egypt. Okay, Akkadian from Assyria and Babylonia. Again, it's a Afro-Asiatic language. Okay, so like we say Afro-Latino. It's not saying it's just a language matter, but like I said before, it also means the people. All right, so a lot of this could be found on Wikipedia, but just proving that it's Egypt. Okay, so showing the connection between Mizraim and Mishur. Be back with part 2. All right, so part 2. So Asardon, which was another king of the Syrians, his victory stele. Let's get into this. Okay, so Arsadon says that he's the king of all these places, and as we know, this king, the king of kings of Nishur, Pat-Tarusi, which is Pathros, and Kushi, which is Kush, or Nubia, modern-day Sudan. Okay, so again, the Akkadian Kushi. Okay, so just another translation, but showing the king of Egypt, Pathros, and Kush. Okay, so it shows that he captured his son Taharka, which Taharka is mentioned in the Bible, which he was a king, I believe the 25th dynasty, but he was a king of Nubia, Kush. Okay, talking about modern day Sudan, not speaking of Ethiopia, which is near Somalia as we speak of today. But his son is captured in the stele or in the artifact. So let's look at it. Okay, so before I break this down, because I wanted to show something about the looks between Cushites and Israelites. But as you see up top, the supplicant ruler. Now, some may say this is Taharka because his son is right there. But some are saying this is Manasseh, which I could believe that Manasseh, king of Judah. Okay, I could believe that more just because of the Arsadon prism. I'm going to get that in a minute. But you also have to know that Manasseh was the son of Hezekiah. Okay, and during Hezekiah's time, who was there helping Taharka. All right, so it makes sense. Okay, so this is what it is, the Arsadon prism. So we see in the translation 55, Manasseh, king of Judah. And then when you switch to the Akkadian, we see Al-Yahudi. Okay, and we'll hold on to that because that's the next thing I'm going to touch into. But let's go back. Okay, so as we see Taharka's son, it looks similar to the images of Israelites. Okay, so I brought this out before the siege of Lachish, okay, by the Assyrian Sennacherib. All right, so as we see the image, let's get a closer look again. Okay, so as we see a closer look, these are Israelites being held captive. Okay, you see the hair texture, and then you look at the son walking, looks similar to Taharka's son. So, like I've said, Israelites are compared to Cushites or Ethiopians. All right, so let me show some more. Okay, so on the last one showed like locks. This one is more like an afro texture. Be back with part 3. All right, so part 3. So I just wanted to show a few more images. All right, and you can clearly see the woolly hair texture of the hair and the beard. Okay, and also for scoffers. Okay, so this video right here could be found on YouTube. It's of a man of Iraq or Iran, I believe, stating facts about, the Near East peoples being all black. All right, so check that out. Let's get back to the lesson. Okay, so I wanted to show the Cushites, okay, on the Assyrian walls. So they look similar to what we just brought out. Okay, like the texture of the hair. Okay, so these are Nubian soldiers from Taharka's army. All right, and you can see the feathers on top of their head. So that's another point I want to make. Okay, so you can just see it a little bit more. Okay, so here I wanted to bring this out because you can see on the Nubians, you see the feathers on top of their heads. So similar to what we saw with in the Assyrian artifact. But this is Hak to Nefer. I believe it's they were bringing tribute to King Tut, I believe. But looking at the complexions of all of them, because again they say that only the jet black people that the Egyptians painted were Nubians, but as you can see, they had the same complexion as the Egyptians. And this is an example. Ramses II, as you see him on the horse, his complexion is no different from some of the other Nubians. All right, so I just wanted to show how you've seen some of the Cushites on the Assyrian walls, and then you've seen the Israelites. So confirming what the scriptures say. So I wanted to bring this out, just showing that the Akkadian is a Shemitic language. Okay, so these are the Al-Yahudu tablets. So that's the Akkadian for Judah. Okay, so just like the Hebrew Yehuda, okay, and even in the scriptures we have Yehudi. Okay, so Yahudu, the Akkadian, and we see Yehuda in the Hebrew. So it's matching, okay, and that's the point, showing that outside sources is correlating with the scriptures. And I'm sure that, or same with Egypt, the Mizraim, Mishur, but I'm sure that the Assyrians during that time was properly getting the right name to call, Israelites at that time, even though it's a Shemitic language. But also you can see Yehudu, he's the son of Cushi, which means dark skin. But that's another thing I'm going to bring out in the next volume. All right, so I'll be back. All right, so part 4. So this is 4 clay tablets from Jehoiakim, which is another king of Judah. And what do we see? Yehudu, okay, Jehoiakinu, okay, king of the land of Yehudu. Okay, so just again matching, showing, and correlating with similar to the Hebrew. All right, so that Akkadian and matching, and it's just really proving everything is true. All right. Okay, so lastly, I'm gonna talk about Nubia and certain words, or a word in Nubia, but I wanted to bring this out as well, showing that the Egyptian or the Metuneter spoken by Egyptians and Nubians has nothing to do with the modern day of Israel and Arabic. Okay, so for those older Egyptians wasn't black, and then now, like I said, they trying to make it seem like the Nubians weren't black. Okay, and the only reason they do, because people don't know that a lot of what the Egyptians got was from Nubia. Okay, and that's another story, another topic. So they constantly just push Kemet or Egypt, but just to show that there's no connection from the ancient Egyptians and modern day people in Egypt. All right, so Kandaka. All right, so when we read in the scriptures, Acts chapter 8 to be exact, people probably think that Candace was the name of that queen of Ethiopia. That's kind of like a mistranslation. But that was the term that was called for the great women or the queens of Nubia at the time. All right, so, but as we see here in the Greek, it's showing Kandaka. Okay, and you could just, Google it to get more research. Okay, so we see it here in Acts 8. It says Kandaka, which means queen of the Ethiopians. And I believe at this time, the queen was Armenianus Salat. Armenianus. I believe this was the queen at this time. And just a side note about the Ethiopian eunuch, I believe he was an Israelite, because the commission for the Gentiles didn't happen till Cornelius. That's a side note, though. So I'll be back with should be the last part. So hopefully this is the final part, but I just wanted to give y'all a little laugh to show you how, the European do things, man. Now, I was reading this article or whatever, and the person was trying to say that all of Ethiopia or all the East African countries, as you can see, were not Negro nations in 33 AD, which is a lie, because even during that time, the Greeks and Romans were still saying that the Egyptians were black. Okay, were, basically black. Okay, so even by Herodotus, the Colchians, the Ethiopians, and Egyptians have thick lips, broad nose, woolly hair, and they all are burnt of skin. And then he tries to say Ethiopia means sunburnt, which it doesn't. It really means burnt face. Okay, but I just found it funny because he was trying to say that the Ethiopian eunuch was a Caucasian. All right, but as we see here, burnt face as red-brown. As such, it was used as a vague term for dark-skinned populations since the time of Homer, which, again, Greek Empire. And then this is the Smith's Bible. As you can see at the top, settled by Hamitic race, dark, men of stature. Okay, so that was a quick cut. And you see how they depicted them, just similar to how it was on the walls in Egypt. Okay, how they depicted the Nubians. So lastly, I just wanted to bring this out about Rechenu, which is a name for Canaan or Israel by the Egyptians. Okay, just another source. The Moneta Stellar, which speaks of Israel, is just another artifact proving Israel outside of the Bible. This source is basically just confirming that the Moneta Stellar was in the scriptures, Joshua 15:9. All right, so this is by T.O.Z. III. The point is, and strike the heads of the Asiatics of retinue. All right, so just to prove, all things that retinue obviously is talking about that region, the Levant region. Okay, and going by other artifacts in Egypt prove, Israel was there. The Brooklyn Papyrus showed that there was Asiatic slaves and things like that. But, I hope y'all got the point of this lesson. Volume 2, I'm going to touch into Israel being in African nations. All right, so look out for that. Till the next time, shalom.